In 1960, KLM was on the threshold of a new era of growth. The age of the jet was dawning. These new aircraft could carry more passengers and fly faster, bringing all 5 continents within a 24-hour reach. KLM's growth went hand in hand with the expansion of the airport. In the early 70s, the new Schiphol airport saw the arrival of the first KLM 747. With its ability to single-handedly carry 400 passengers and 20 tons of cargo, the giant aircraft was an instant sensation. From the early 60s, Schiphol's neighboring city of Amstelveen was also experiencing tumultuous expansion. For a time, large-scale construction of housing, shopping centres and public parks made it the fastest-growing city in the Netherlands. At the beginning of the 1970s, KLM's head office moved to Amstelveen. The new modern building was located near the old village centre. Here, the church still stands on the same spot as the original building, erected in 1450. From this time on, the village's population grew slowly for centuries. In the first years of the 20th century, Amstelveen was still a simple rural village, where time seemed to have stood still. But in 1919, that changed forever. Schiphol Airport was built on the marshy clay of nearby reclaimed land, and here KLM Royal Dutch Airlines took off for a flying start. In the following decades, the little village of Amstelveen, along the lake known as De Poel, developed into a busy modern city, with industry, sports and culture set in green. Green, because Amstelveen is ringed by the Amsterdam Woods, the Bovenkerke Polder, and the green belt along the River Amstel. Here, a stone's throw away from the city, you'll find one of the 3 remaining country estates along the River Amstel, Wester-Amstel. Commissioned by Nicolaas Pancras, Mayor of Amsterdam, Wester-Amstel was built around 1662. Ownership of Wester-Amstel changed several times, until the estate was bought by Jacques Lisson. The estate has been in the hands of the family ever since. Stewardship of the estate passed into the hands of Søren Ludwig Movig.
My great-great-grandfather bought the house on an auction back in 1900. He had earned a fortune through the establishment of the first Dutch travel agency in 1876. He had brought the first groups of Dutch tourists to places like London, Paris, Venice, Chicago. The First World War nearly bankrupted the business. Luckily, the start of Royal Dutch Airlines, straight after the war, brought new revenue through the sales of KLM tickets.
During the 70s, Wester-Amstel fell into serious disrepair, but Søren was able to find a tenant willing to fund the estate's restoration. After being nearly flooded, barely escaping demolition and withstanding invasions by various armies, it's safe to say that Wester-Amstel is a true survivor. Søren vividly remembers all the childhood stories told by his grandfather, such as the tale of Wester-Amstel's gazebo in the below water level landscape along the River Amstel.
This Victorian gazebo was placed here in 1900 and was used by the ladies of our family for their late afternoon teas. Now, as you can see, the land here is much lower than the river over there. And of course, the ladies did not want to look at the dike, but at the passers-by. So the gazebo was raised and put onto this scaffold. Unfortunately, we're now about a century later, and the peaty soil has compacted by a further meter. So now we have to raise the gazebo once again.
One of his very favorite stories dates back to the start of Dutch aviation, when aircraft were still called flying machines.
Back in 1920, my great-great-grandmother was furious when she spotted devilish flying machines passing straight over the house. KLM pilots had to navigate on site, and they found the house a perfect beacon on their way over to Schiphol. My great-great-grandmother rang KLM founder Albert Plasman and gave him a serious scolding. And Plasman budged. He instructed his pilots to change their flight path 2 miles down south, and the local gunpowder factory became their new beacon.
Through their location, their vitality and character, and above all their recent shared history, KLM, Amstelveen and Wester-Amstel are inextricably linked to a shared future. On its 90th birthday, KLM is proud to present Wester-Amstel as the KLM Delft Blue House number 90.